Hey, yo, everybody, it's Johnny5Alive here, and we're back with some more Park Beyond patch 1.4, a megalithic patch. Is this the patch that fixes the game finally? Oh my goodness gracious, it might just be. I just took a quick glimpse at the top point here. Visitor AI has been revamped to make better usage of rides and shops. With this system, we are specifically addressing rides becoming underutilized for no apparent reason. Well, there is an apparent reason. You guys didn't program it to work that way. The system helps maintain the profitability of rides in your park. So obviously this was a massive issue in the game, and it wasn't just me and my Let's Play and my playthrough. I've seen it from the comments throughout my entire Let's Play series. Many of you who have been playing this game alongside with me throughout the campaign were discussing your frustrations down in the comments below. And some of the missions, like specifically the last one where you had to earn a certain amount of income per month, this bug or this incomplete feature of the game was making things very, very hard, especially underutilized for no apparent reason on roller coasters. So this alone should fix the whole like simulation aspect of the game, and that is the only bullet point that I have read before starting this video. I'm like, this is good enough for me. I'm amped up. Let's go through it together and discover what else this has to bring. So kicking things off from the top down, guys, Park Beyond PC and console patch changelog includes a number of changes in response to various feedback voiced by the community about parks eventually becoming unprofitable and level of difficulty in missions. So I do want to highlight the fact that, like, I think it was like after I uploaded just a few videos of playing this, I did like a jump forward in time because I was actually in the bonus mission of the level, the 9th level, and I was running into issues, and I made a whole developer feedback video and put that at like the kind of the beginning of my Let's Play. Very, very early on. This was probably like a month and a half ago. And basically I was showing that, like, once you get to a certain point, if you try to expand outward, the game will just self-implode, making parks eventually not being profitable and not allowing you to expand further. So if this in fact has been fixed, like fully fixed, playing this game with like no sandbox mode, no cheats, no nothing like that, but just letting guests in, earning money, expanding, building theming, this should make the game play the way it was intended to play. This is what we call a feature complete game, hopefully, for the most part. So after some initial balance changes in patch 1.3, we have worked out additional balancing adjustments and systematic changes for this patch. Very good to point out here, because I was reading that we covered the 1.3, and during that I said wasn't what I was looking for, wasn't what I was hoping for, and hopefully 1.4 will address that. I covered the patch 1.3 3 weeks ago to this day. So already 3 weeks later, we got another massive patch, and hopefully this is the one. Please note that the most of these changes to take effect, you will need to restart the mission in which you are facing issues on. If you're playing in sandbox mode and want to keep your park, replace your flat rides and update your coasters, going into edit mode once more. Having to replace all of your rides and update your coasters. I don't know what update your coasters mean. So just an FYI, guys, I started playing sandbox. I made this really cool water coaster. I did this really cool underwater themed area with a Kraken flat ride, and I put about like an hour or two, probably 2, maybe more hours into doing this, and I was like, I was gonna do like a sandbox Let's Play, because a lot of you guys watch my Let's Play and you're like, well, none of these issues really happen in sandbox as much because you have unlimited money, you know, like you could basically just throw money at the problem and throw, I guess, unlimited features, all the unlimitedness throw that at the problem. There's less issues when you're not fighting the actual systems. I don't necessarily like to play that way. So as I was playing sandbox and I was creating something quite nice, I wasn't having fun because I wasn't building as I was going, and I kind of just had unlimited money. And I was struggling with the fact that this game doesn't have an object and world rotation. There's certain tools in this game that still aren't good for sandbox, and still not good in period for building in this game, that I still think need to be improved and changed on in the future, like a world axis, object axis, because everything is on a diagonal, which means you have to move things wiggle diagonally instead of just moving things straight in a line, and that's like extremely frustrating. So I was like frustrated with playing sandbox, and I wasn't making the money and like earning my rides, and that felt kind of like defeating. So I kind of stopped my Let's Play at 1 episode and didn't release it, and I'm glad I did, did, because I would have lost all of my progress, or I would have to replace everything. And when you build a flat ride and you decorate it in and you've like kind of glitched it into position because I moved it off the side and slide it in, replacing some of these is a lot harder than it sounds. So yeah, I'm glad I waited. Let's put it that way. And I have a lot that I want to say about just like game releases, feature completes, and the success of this game. And we'll get into that at the end of the video. So we already went over this. The AI has been fixed, or the queues. The rides, the guests wanting to go on rides. That's amazing. Visitors of your park are now able to run their goals under certain conditions. Visitors of your park are now able to run their goals under certain conditions. This change addresses issues with long walking distances in parks, as visitors will be able to reach their goals up to 2-3 times faster now, which resolves in visitors being more spread out through the park. Visitors will run their first visit in the park to newly open rides, to remote rides, and very urgent cases to certain facilities. Wow. This is addressing a lot of the things that I went over. These first two are massive. We can make more spread out parks now. Awesome. We soften the impact of the cleanliness rating on the fun generator in your park, which will make it easier to progress to higher park levels and reduce the overall progression difficulty. All right, this is a band-aid fix in my opinion. The puke is floating on the paths, which is making it so the janitors can't clean it or don't even know that it exists. So your cleanliness rating tanks. So even softening the impact will still mean there's floating puke, but it's just less impactful on your overall progression difficulty. But it's a band-aid fix, because if there's a lot of floating puke, and I'm talking like at 90% all over your park, not only is it ugly to look at, frustrating and stupid, but it's still going to impact your progression, and it's still going to impact your rating. So they would have to actually just remove the impact of this. And honestly, I think that's a better solution. Make it just so people don't puke and litter anymore until you can fix this, or just fix it. No more floating puke and floating garbage, because that is atrocious. That needs to get addressed. That should have been alongside this fix. But the good news is that won't prevent you from actually progressing now, like it has gotten us hard stuck in the past. Hopefully. Coasters, and especially the wide coaster type, received balancing changes, which will now attract more visitors to your park. Thank God. Oh my goodness gracious. So I never used the wide coaster, which, if you guys are wondering, it's actually a winged coaster. I don't know why they call it a wide coaster, but the winged launch coaster, it literally says on there it has less throughput because people are willing to pay less money for this ride because more guests can ride it at once. And I've never built this coaster for that reason. That shouldn't be the functionality. A winged coaster where you're hanging off the side of the track should in theory be more fun and attract more guests, even though it has more throughput. That should be the feature of the coaster, that it is better than a standard coaster. It is more attractive than a standard coaster, and people want to go on it and are willing to pay more for it. So they didn't really want to go on it before because it was programmed to be less attractive because of the winged aspect, because it has higher capacity, which doesn't really make any sense at all. They really need to reconsider what they're doing with coasters in this game and also add more of them. But nonetheless, just having more coasters being balanced that will attract visitors to your coasters and your park is massive. Massive, massive, massive. I've been complaining about this since the beta. I mentioned this, and this is why we should have longer betas for games like this. We addressed and balanced the difficulty of specific missions and milestone goals for Mission 5, Duel at the Beaches, and Mission 8, Top of the World. I don't remember what these are off the top of my head anymore. It's been so long, but I do remember Mission 5 in particular, and Mission 8 being a major complaint. So they were difficult. Many people were getting stuck on those. We look forward to receiving your feedback based off the changes and their impact on the financial success of your parks. Thank you, Limbic Entertainment Design Team. Well, if I had to, the downside is this sounds good. That would be my feedback to the Limbic Entertainment team. But I'm not really going to go play that campaign again, especially if there's still floating puke and, I can't rotate and not rotate, but move things on world and object access. There needs to be quality of life features added to the controls of the game, making it easier to build and more fun to build, so that I could combo that with the working AI to then replay through the campaign and this time get all 3 stars on all missions for me to be incentivized to actually play through the campaign again. So it's a super unfortunate situation because I want to replay the campaign with quality of life and fun features. There needs to be a reason for me to. And in fact, when I will play through the campaign again probably is when the DLC comes out, because that DLC adds new rides, adds new coasters, adds new content, and now I get to use all of that in the campaign. So I won't really be able to give you my feedback until there's just more of a reason to replay this game. Because I'm not going to keep replaying through the campaign every single time there's a new patch, especially if 1.8 is going to be a way better experience. I'll wait for 1.8. Our team has continued to work on deeper balancing improvements and bug fixes for the game. If you find any issues during the time, report them to the support team. Please follow us on Instagram. Wait. This is all the patch notes? This can't be it. Okay, hold on. Let me go to Steam. See, I looked at Steam here, and there was more on Steam, so I don't know why this isn't listed on that site. But look at this. Stability. Crash. Look at all these crashes, guys. I'm assuming this happens on console too. So this has got to be at least like 40 crashes. My goodness. I actually only had the game crash a few times during my Let's Play, but that is just unacceptable for a released game. Wow. Performance, FPS dropping drastically after multiple thousand visitors entered the park on specific hardware setups. Well, I think that's just like pushing computers to the next level, but I did notice when I did the Impossify Everything series, I had 8,000, multiple thousand visitors, and my game was starting to tank, and then after a reload, the frame rate jumped up again. So the game is definitely capable of handling thousands of guests, but they do need to optimize it a little bit. So that's what looks like they're doing, and optimize some more stuff, reworked group edit mode material. Oh, GPU cost. So this is all performance stuff. Saving and loading. Fixed an issue where flat rides lost their custom name. I've seen all sorts of crazy stuff happen when you reload a save in this game. So it looks like they're fixing that based off of saving and reloading. So you can pause it there and give that a read. Balancing tweaked experience reward values for paramedic duties. Flattened the coaster costs so their costs and upkeeps are more consistent. Very good. Added spawn waves for second, third, etc. roller coasters being opened. Spawn waves. That's good. So when you build a coaster, it spawns more guests, I'm assuming, and that means they're going to be attracted. This is all stuff I've been mentioning through my Let's Plays. So Limbic, if you guys are watching my Let's Plays and taking feedback from there, thank you, and I hope it helped. Adjusted default fee of flat rides so they achieve 100% upkeep and 50% profitability goal on 75% utilization. Okay, I've had it where flat rides just stop making money, so I'm sure that's going to help that. Welcome to fix an issue where the goal connect marked attractions and shops in the park using paths accomplished incorrectly. Okay, there's still fix an issue where visitors are not spawned and deleting and reconnecting the entrance path. Okay. Added challenge park entry fee. Interesting. Adjusted milestone rewards for difficult balancing. Added staff impossification hint after received impossification charges. What's the one? Is it an eye for detail where I couldn't figure out how to get the hooks on the coasters to work? You just have to impossify the coaster and then you get new hooks. And I don't really like that system, but they need to add in hints because I couldn't figure it out. Added transportation ride challenge to first group of unlocked challenges. Now that is just the word transportation ride. I've never really built this because none of the coasters attracted guests anyways, and then if you transport them to the other side of the park, they got lost and they couldn't fulfill their needs, and then everyone left your park and your park rating plummeted. So everything that they fixed at the top of this patch will now make transportation rides viable, and that alone is awesome because now you get people onto a coaster, you transport them to the other side of the park, you can make another park on the other side. We can make much more expansive and amazing parks now. Hiding clouds in the intro. What about, is it taking in the flood? This is it. What, I bought all the land and I couldn't, I moved the coaster, they have so much to fix on this, and seeing nothing of that fixed from my playthrough is unfortunate. So again, they want us to voice our feedback on how these changes improve our game. If I go play this mission, I'm still going to run into the same issues that I had the first time around because none of those issues have been addressed yet in either of the 4 updates. Or 3 updates. So if I run into that again, I'm just going to get frustrated and quit. So I'm still waiting for more fixes. Mission 7, A Tale of Two Theme Parks. They just fixed a bunch of stuff. Let's go. And then same with Mission 8, which was horrible. Reduce the check from 10,000 to 5,000 monthly income to reduce the difficulty. Oh my God. I was saying how this mission was hard. The most frustrating mission in gaming history is what I called it. They reduced the difficulty by half. That's how difficult it was. Honestly, that's a bit overkill in my opinion, but I think it's better to just, it's already hard because these parking lots spawn on your park and delete everything that you've done. So you can't even have fun on that mission. You can't make a fun theme park because your stuff is getting deleted as you're making it. So you just have to like get it over with. That whole mission just sucks for that reason alone. Then you have to deal with the fact that you have to earn this much income. So by nerfing it this much, it's probably fine because it's like nobody likes that mission and you just want to get it over with. But I think that's bad game design because why do you design a mission into your game that everyone just wants to rush through it and get it over with? Every mission in a creative game should make you want to replay it so you can do it in different ways. This to me just feels like it's not very fun. I think all of these should have creative aspects that give them replayability. This mission certainly does not have that. And I think Taking in the Flood also suffers from that problem because as soon as you buy all the land out, the mission auto completes. So you would have to like only half play the map if you want to have fun on it. Also, not a good design in my opinion. Exploration Park now incrementally enables theme research collections. Okay, I never played any of these exploration parks, so I don't know. Sandbox maps. Fixed issues. Okay, nothing here is like balance or tweaks. No quality of life stuff yet. Gamepad fixes, pathing fixes. Pathing has always been a nightmare, and even in Planet Coaster today. So if they did this many fixes to pathing, that's great. The biggest one that I didn't like was like I couldn't place a path and I had to place it backwards. So hopefully it's listed in here. But either way, pathing should be easier. Placement. So there's all these issues with placing stuff, and I've experienced that too. And these are all the fixes for it. So that should just make the game feel better. Groups and prefabs. Fixed issues. Where's the quality of life though? Added an object group content limit. Fixed the translation gizmo not being available in edit mode. So fixes for the groups. Undo redo. I mean, I've seen 1,000 issues with this. So there's like almost 10 fixes for that. Coasters. Oh my goodness. Well, change the default and max train size of wide coasters so there are less cars in the train to improve profitability. I want the quality of life to be able to add multiple trains on a coaster. Why is that not a thing in a coaster game? Why can you only have one coaster on your coaster? I want to have multiple coasters, you know, block sections and stuff. Let me put 4 trains on a coaster, especially if it's like 5 miles long. You have to wait for that one coaster to get all the way back to the station before more guests can get on it. The wait time is going to be insane. You should have 5 coasters running around a 5-mile coaster so that a new one arrives to the station every 1 mile. That's so silly. So if the devs, if you are watching this, you know, there's still more quality of life and features to add to the game, but seeing all these fixes with coasters just shows like how frustrating it was to play with coasters in this game. And, you know, after a while in my Let's Play, I stopped using coasters entirely. So, you know, that's big. All that stuff's big. Fixed the work mode being affected by sync all option. Fixed the upkeep cost of Pac-Man Souvenir Shop being 0. All right. Park management. A system now ensures more even distribution of visitors across rides in the park depending on visitor preferences and ride utilization. Very, very good. Improved cleanliness fluctuations having a growing impact on the appeal calculation. What is a multiplicative growing impact? Is that what was happening? I guess I had a couple missions where puke was floating. It was stuck everywhere. And then boom, park rating 0. Everyone left. Removed most least sold items info. Fixed critical happiness. Leave park visitor goal spam. Ugh. Visitors implemented running behavior for visitors who will now run to the first ride they visit. Newly opened rides and depending on... That's amazing. That's great. Improved cases of sliding visitors during transitions. I've seen that a few times. Change the wording on the ride queue full thought to be more precise on the fact that the queue path should be longer. Yeah, people are like, I don't want to go on that queue or I don't want to go on that ride or whatever. But sometimes it's like, why? Like, is the queue too short? Is the wait time too long? Because there's a strategy on, like, you shouldn't have like a mile-long queue for like a junior coaster. It's insane. You have to make the queue a certain length depending on the ride, because you don't want people stuck in queue for an hour to go on a whirly rig. So fixed a ton of issues with visitor behavior, and visitors considering a transportation ride as only a normal coaster. I was also so yeah, that's the reason that I stayed away from transportation rides. Visitors occasionally puking shortly after entering the park. This stuff is so stupid. Oh. Fixed an issue where rides were not being recognized by certain conditions. That's why I had rides that were just like no guests would go on them. Wow, this is like a lot of fixes. Team goals. Fixed an issue where team goals did not trigger after completing them. I've had that. Staff getting stuck in T-pose. Holy moly. Holy moly. Color customization. Stuff wasn't being able to be colored. Impossification mode introduced different icon colors depending on the impossified items. UI fixes. Holy crap. Visual fixes, audio fixes, content. Added the Bloody Quackers community coaster. What? Is there a new coaster in the game? Neat. Added several tags in preparation of the sharing feature. Updated credits. Wow. So I wanted to give a summary and my thoughts about, like, you know, feature complete games. This is a perfect time to talk about it because Baldur's Gate literally just came out and it is second most played game on Steam next to Counter-Strike, and it is a RPG. No microtransactions, no DLC, no season passes, nothing like that. Feature complete. Not very many bugs. Now, I have run into issues where certain information and certain things are not conveyed to the player properly or just missing entirely. There's a lot of quality of life stuff that I could think that could be added to Baldur's Gate, but generally speaking, everything works and everything is playable, and I haven't run into any game-breaking bugs, but I have run into a few. Generally speaking, for how big the game is, how many permutations there are, 17,000 possible endings, etc., 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 that game is a feature-complete game. You buy it for $70, it works, you can have tons and tons and tons of fun. I think Park Beyond could have also led by example and done that correctly if they didn't rush it out the door. Look at this, all these fixes here, guys. Look at all this, look at all this. That's patch 1.4. This is a lot. Patch 1.31. Patch 1.30. Look at all this stuff. Patch 1.22, 1.21, 1.20. Look at all this. From the top down, everything I've scrolled through to here, since it launched, they have fixed hundreds, if not thousands, of bugs. This was not a feature-complete game on release. As a result, overwhelmingly negative reviews, incomplete, and there's probably, I would say, 80% of your audience that's interested in this game didn't buy this game because they see reviews. They see YouTubers like me complaining about certain aspects, and I'm an advocate for the game. I bought the game. I bought the collector's edition of the game. I played the crap out of the game. I've got a lot of time on this game. How many hours have I played? 52 hours. And I would probably be at 200, 300 hours if it weren't for all of these issues. So I bought a game that I only got 50 hours from, which I expected to get at least 200 plus hours out of, if not more, because if we look at Planet Coaster, I have 2,250 hours. A lot of people that are interested in Planet Coaster would be interested in Park Beyond if it was working and had the quality of life features and it was feature complete on release. And I think with that being said, the popularity of this game would probably be 10 times the size that it is now. I think the game sales of this game would have been 10 times the amount that it is now. And it can turn it around. Like, the idea is ship it and then fix it after. It hurt your sales by 1,000%. It just hurt the sales horribly. If it eventually gets fixed, yeah, people might come around to it. But even me, somebody that wants to play this game a lot and cover it heavily, we don't even have the community sharing system implemented, like the Steam Workshop, right? Going to the workshop and downloading people's creations and sharing creations with people. I can't even do a park spotlight on your guys' parks that you make in Park Beyond because they don't allow us to share them yet. So also feature incomplete. Now, based off of the patch notes we just went through, they said any rides and coasters that you have built on your current save, you have to replace them. How many people are going to do that for the park that they're currently working on? So anybody that's working on a park right now in Park Beyond, has to basically restart and throw it out. So when we finally get the ability to share our parks with one another, there's not going to be any, because like they're on old patches that like are dysfunctional. So who's going to want to restart everything they've done? And the incompatibility issues. Now, is the sharing thing, they said it was going to come in August, I think. August or September. We're in August. So where is the community sharing system? The game is so buggy that implementing that now is probably not good, because there's going to be a lot of incompatibility issues that people are uploading parks that were on patch 1.1 versus, you know, the sharing system being on 2.0, right? So eventually, if we get that sharing system, I can come download your parks in Park Beyond, and we can do park spotlights on them. From there, people are like, oh, this game looks cool, I'm gonna buy it. So sales for this game may improve eventually, and the game might be fun eventually. The problem is, look at Baldur's Gate 3 just came out. 59 hours. Came out like 3 days ago. Maybe a little bit longer, but it came out like 5 days ago or something. I don't know. I already got more time on Baldur's Gate 3. I got more value for that money spent than I have on Park Beyond, that's been out for what, 2-3 months? I don't know. I don't even know now. Last played July 15th. What day is it today? August 7th. And so, yeah, my point is there's better games out there like Baldur's Gate that you can spend your money on. Planet Coaster exists. It's more feature complete, and you can play at least 2,000 plus hours easily. So why would you get this game after? And I don't mean to discourage the developers if they're watching this. It's like, well, what's the point in fixing the game then? Maybe we should just cut our losses and call this game a failure and move on. No, because the game has potential. They put all this love and work and soul. The game is amazing, or at least has the potential to be amazing. And I hope it gets there. So I'm not trying to like say like this is a complete waste of effort. What I'm trying to say to wrap it all up is if it would have launched in the state of like, I don't know what is fixed for this game. I think this patch fixes a lot of things, and if it was released as 1.4, I would think I would have had a great campaign experience. It probably would have gotten pretty good reviews. Maybe 1.4 or 1.5 is the state that it should have released in. Was only 2 months away, and they would have had at least 5 times the game sales, 5 times the player base, 5 times the positive reviews. It just wait 2 months. That's all it would have taken. An extra 2 months in the oven. How about a beta that was last longer than 2 weeks? If the beta was 2 months, all of this stuff would have been fixed for a release. The game would have been successful. It would have got more funding for more DLCs, expansion packs, and a Park Beyond 2, you know, stuff like that. So I can't blame the developers here. It's probably the publisher, because the game was already delayed from last year. So what was it looking like last year, right? So I don't really blame the developers. They made an amazing game. They're good at doing the artwork, but it definitely needed more time in the oven. So I think the game is going to eventually be really, really cool when we get the sharing system and all the quality of life and everything is like where it should be. This thing that saddens me is by the time that happens, we're going to be neck deep in Baldur's Gate playthrough 2, Starfield, you know, and there's a lot of heavy hitter games coming out this year. And Mario RPG, there's that new Souls-like game. It's just a lot. And while this is more on the creative aspect, it's very unique in its genre. That's where I still think it stands out. But City Skylines 2 is coming. So when you make a splash, you got to make a splash. And I just hope the DLC does that. It's just, is that DLC going to come at a time where I'm in the middle of like a Starfield playthrough or a City Skylines 2 playthrough? I think for me, I'm going to be revisiting Park Beyond when the sharing system comes out, when we can go do park spotlights, when we can look at stuff. I will replay the campaign when all of the DLC that I paid for is here. So I don't know when that stuff's coming, but there's like 3 DLCs that I paid for that I'm waiting for. So, you know, there's a lot of people following this game, waiting for it to get better. And when that happens, I'm thinking it'll probably be sometime spring next year when some of the DLC comes out and the sharing system's in. Maybe then we can really see what this game has to offer. And I look forward to that moment. So to summarize what I felt about this whole thing is feature complete games should be praised when they are released. And Baldur's Gate is being praised for that. I feel like Park Beyond could have been on that same thing, but you know, we were just a couple months too short. So I hope developers learn from this and look at like Park Beyond, Baldur's Gate, and look at like what a feature complete game can do versus scrambling to fix your game after release, and learn from that. Now, Park Beyond is a really, really good game. I believe that, and I think it will get there. So my final note to the developers and everyone watching is stay tuned and keep at it and don't give up. We're going to come back to this game in DLC and the sharing, and we're going to try to shine a light on the best aspects of this game. I think I had to highlight some of the negatives here, that, hey, this is not feature complete. I'm kind of mad about that. We're all mad about that. We gave you our money so that we could have a feature complete game, and we didn't get that in return. But I'm willing to look past that, forgive and forget. And when the game is good, we're going to shine a light on that game, try to get more people in this community, and try to enjoy another theme park game, because this community needs more theme park games. Boom. All right. So that's the 1.4 patch notes, everybody. We're going to wrap it up there. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I guess we'll see you in the next Park Beyond patch notes game video, because I'm not playing the game until we get some DLC or something major and significant to check out. So we'll see you in 1.5. Bye now.